cartoon character. All I can remember is like ones from the 80s. So from kind of being a kid, which things like Danger Mouse, Top Cat, I loved.
Top Cat's amazing. Underrated.
There was one called Ulysses, which was like a set in space. That was pretty cool. There was also like there was one that was some kind of, I can't remember what it was called, but it was all about like it was like set inside the human body, and it was all like, do you remember? It was all like the red blood cells and the white blood cells. Anyway, I remember that.
Ice Broken. Surprised.
Yeah. It's nice because there aren't many bands around anymore from when we first started. So to even still be able to make records and tour and get out there is kind of a surprise. But as Jesse says, it's even more of a surprise when the albums keep going to number one. It's lovely. Very nice. Well, I suppose, I don't know. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Music is a part of who we are. It's part of our way of kind of expressing ourselves. So God knows whether it will be Keane, but I would hope in some capacity it would be nice to still be doing something musical further down the line.
You'd have to be pretty stupid to employ any of us to do anything else. So we'd struggle.
Yeah. Well, I think if it's a job, then you're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. No, I mean, like for me, when I was from as far back as I can remember, from like being a tiny kid, all I wanted to do was be in a band, and like I think many kids feel like that. You know, want to be in a band and like do the old, you know, the cliches of standing in front of a mirror with a hairbrush or a tennis racket, pretending to, you know, do the thing. But I never really, I never grew out of that. I never grew up, you know. And I suppose
you have mirrors fitted either side of the stage, don't you? So you can
check myself out. So I don't know. That's all that I know. I wouldn't really know what to do. I remember before we got a record deal, I didn't really know what I was doing with my life. All I wanted to do was make music, but all that I was doing was just rubbish jobs that I hated. So yeah. I remember the first gig that we did was in London at the Hope and Anchor, which is a really old music venue. And there were about 10 people there, but we were absolutely terrified because it is nerve-wracking playing for the first time. And the first note, Tim played the wrong note.
Some things never change.
Yeah, Tim played, yeah, exactly, set the tone for the rest of our career. But I remember it very vividly. In fact, I think someone recorded it.
I remember playing there once, and do you remember in Wayne's World, when the mixing desk goes wrong and he hits it with a spanner? The guy actually did that. We were playing and something stopped working and the guy just walloped it with something and it sprang back to life. I thought, I hope we get to play better places than this one day.
Well, we played for nearly 2 hours, so there's enough chance to play like all the old favourites, but also play lots of the new songs. So it's a mixture, isn't it, really?
I think we make a point of playing for the audience rather than for ourselves. Sometimes you go and watch a band and they're just in their own world doing 15-minute jams and things, and we make a real point of playing the songs that, you know, we'll find out which songs were singles in whichever country it is and make sure that we try and give people the best night that they can, you know, that we can, really, rather than just sort of, okay, we're going to play and you can watch, you know, thanks for coming.
Well, that's a good example because Under Pressure was, our cover of that was a massive hit in Mexico and I think some parts of South America. So when we did our tour there recently, we felt we had to play that, really. I don't know.
We've been playing we've played the Blue Nile a couple of times lately, haven't we? There's the Blue Nile Scottish band. It's nice to play a cover once in a while just to sort of keep your brain going and, you know, challenge yourself a little bit, but also
remind yourselves of how good other bands are.
It's nice to pretend that you're as good as them for 3.5 minutes.
It's a grey area, you know. It's impossible to say whether you hate it or you love it, but, well, for me anyway, I hate the fact that people download music illegally. I don't agree with it. I don't think there's any benefit from it, really. You know, it's stealing music, which is completely wrong. So I don't really. I know there are people who say, "Oh, you know, it helps to get your music out there," but it would do anyway. You know, it's the greatest advertising tool of all time. So there are. I mean, you know, there are lots of elements that are good to it, but I mean, I just think it needs to be regulated somehow to make sure that musicians don't keep getting ripped off, because the way that it is at the moment, it's crazy. I mean, you wouldn't go into a shop and just pick up a load of things and just walk out the door. You know, but people
would.
Well, some people would. Very few people would. But there's still lots of people who are happy to do that online, which I just think is, you know, it's immoral, really. And I don't know. I was reading in Japan. They've just started like levying really big fines for people who download music illegally, and I just, you know, personally, I think that's the way it should work. You know,
for a band to become really, really good, they have to only do music. They can't do day jobs and have a rehearsal once or twice a week and just do music for fun. They'll never get any better than pub level, you know, really. So they need to have the money to be able to do it. If people are stealing music, there's less and less money to invest in bands actually being able to progress and become, you know, like U2. Joshua Tree was their 5th album. Red Hot Chili Peppers were going for 10 years before they had any success. You know, these are globally colossal bands. It's just, you know, I feel slightly, well, I just feel sad about it, to be honest.
Hi, this is Jesse. And I'm Tom from the band Keane, and we are going to be performing at the Hala Tivoli on the 29th of October in Ljubljana, so we will see you there.